Good afternoon. As returning officer in the leadership election, I can confirm that we have received one valid nomination. And Rishi Sunak is therefore elected as leader of the Conservative Party. You may wish to know the new leader of the party will address us in this room at 2:30. Thank you.
Well, there we are. Confirmation, what we already knew, because Penny Mordaunt had dropped out of the race at the last moment, that Rishi Sunak is the next leader of the Conservative Party and set to become the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So what was originally a three-horse race with Boris Johnson and Penny Mordaunt ended up as a one-horse race because Boris Johnson pulled out last night, and then Penny Mordaunt, just a few moments before that announcement of nominations at 2 o'clock, she pulled out as well because she was well short of the 100 minimum that she required. So let's go back to Chris Mason, our political editor. Well, we've seen some extraordinary moments in the last few weeks, Chris, in British politics, and I suppose none more extraordinary than this, in a sense that Rishi Sunak, of course, lost the contest to Liz Truss. He could barely have dreamt at that stage, that moment of defeat, that just a few weeks later he would be replacing her as Tory party leader and British Prime Minister.
It's quite astonishing, isn't it, that the guy who was defeated by the current Prime Minister is replacing her a matter of weeks after she took office, and that will take place in the next 24 hours. Rishi Sunak, the man who campaigned all summer as the underdog amongst Conservative Party members on that trudge around town halls and exhibition centres doing umpteen hustings as the underdog, defeated by Liz Truss, to then see Liz Truss's programme for government that he had critiqued, particularly her economic prospectus, collapse within the first few weeks of her trying to implement it. And here he is on the brink of replacing her and becoming Prime Minister. Confirmed that he is the new Conservative Party leader. We're into one of those windows where we have a different Conservative Party leader from Conservative Prime Minister. He assumes one title before he can assume the other. As we heard there from Sir Graham Brady, he is going to be going in front of his MPs, his parliamentary party, in the next half hour or so in order to, well, make the case for the government he is about to lead. We know he has the support of a majority of Conservative MPs who are willing to publicly endorse him before this moment. The big challenge now for the Conservative Party is the extent to which they can rally around a new Prime Minister. They weren't doing that in the final weeks and months of Boris Johnson's tenure. They weren't doing that, frankly, for anything but the first 45 minutes of Liz Truss's tenure. Their challenge now is to what extent can the party unite around Rishi Sunak, because the challenge he faces in government is towering. All of the things we talked about a few minutes ago, the situation with the public finances, they are grim, spiralling prices that we all know about, a party that has been very, very lacking in unity, to put it at its gentlest, and then the fact that Conservatives have been in government for a long time and are beginning to show that age in office, if you like. So all of those challenges, coupled with the fact that the opposition parties will say, look, Rishi Sunak never won an election. There'll also be those who say that Rishi Sunak hasn't said anything publicly shy of a tweet and an Instagram post saying he was running for the leadership since the point he declared again that he wanted to be Prime Minister. So he has a big job to do in terms of introducing himself to the country, particularly those who may not have paid that much attention to him over the summer when it looked highly likely that he wouldn't win anyway. So a massive challenge for him to come, but also, we should reflect, a moment of extraordinary triumph for him, just as it was for Liz Truss 7 weeks ago, because to reach the very top of politics, to lead the country, is a huge achievement that plenty in this postcode dream of, and very, very few have the privilege of being able to do. And he will be able to do that and start doing that as soon as tomorrow. Another moment of history worth marking, the first person of colour to be the British Prime Minister. Again, a moment that will make history. For him then, What starts now with his pitch to Conservative MPs in the next half hour, and then in the hours after that, is assembling a government. To what extent does he change things significantly or not, put his stamp on the party, whilst emphasising a desire for flexibility?